Hello, Galen. Thank you for joining us. Hello, another wonderful festive fold, and I'm bringing along a big bumper of possibilities to hopefully get you in the spirit. So I thought maybe we could make stockings, maybe even hello, Junard. Thank you for joining from India. Maybe trees. I thought maybe I could show you how to cut a snowflake, because of course this obviously involving scissors. The six-fold symmetry is really important, so I can show that, which is of course all about folding. So I thought we could actually do quite a bit there. And I'm going to be doing another fold next week, but then after that I'm going to take a bit of a break. I have to say, a colleague was really encouraging me. She's like, Lizzie, you're encouraging well-being for others. You've also got to give yourself a break. Everyone should always be able to take breaks. So next week I'll do a fold, but then thank you, Eric. The joy is always to hear from you. So next week I'll do a fold, but then I'm going to give myself a break for 2 weeks. I won't be going anywhere or doing anything exciting, but I think just giving myself that time offline and to recharge, because it's important to do that over that time. So so I hope you're going to enjoy this. Hence, what I've done to help support any of you who if you are missing folds over those couple of weeks, hello Stephen, then do tune into my YouTube channel, which obviously you are doing now, but I've uploaded lots of videos, so hopefully there's lots to keep you busy and sorted. I'll just take that 2-week break. So I will be here next week, and next week I think we'll do Santas and maybe an angel as well. But this week I thought stockings and a tree, nice little traditional tree, but they're so effective. Maybe some things involving scissors. I hope that's okay to those of you, but I think it does look really nice. And as mentioned, I think showing you how to do a nice six-fold symmetry snowflake, which I think is important actually. So it's 2 minutes past, so because I've been quite inspired by this beautiful book, Snowflakes. I picked this up actually at a charity shop a few years ago. It's just beautiful. It's from a scientist. He's a physicist, I think in Canada, and he goes and hunts for snowflakes when it's very cold. So he brings a sheet of glass and his kind of microscope camera, and then takes pictures of the snowflakes he finds. And of course, they're all unique and different, but they all have, oh, I'm sorry, Eric, it's not a good day, but hey, you're still taking part, and the films are there. So when the time is right, you can fold and just enjoy being part of it. But you can see in all of these cases this lovely six-fold symmetry. So I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I used to make snowflakes, and they don't look quite right, and it's because the symmetry is wrong. So I'm going to show you how to do six-fold, which is quite simple. Again, it's all about the folding. They are beautiful, aren't they? So just showing you a few snowflakes while we're waiting for people to arrive. Look at these early stages of amazing. They're kind of like fractals. They start off actually as hourglass looking things. Let's see if I can find one of those. They start as a very strange looking thing. Ah, that's it. Look at that. Or it almost looks like a timer, doesn't it? An hour. Yeah, class one. Oh, look at all these beautiful forms and structures. Nature is beautiful. So if you do at any point see snow, I don't know, it's probably a bit unlikely for you doing it, isn't it? But of course there are the Himalayas. If it does ever snow, then go outside, have a look really carefully, like on the windows of cars. You can sometimes see a little beautiful snowflakes. You can see one of these for yourself. So at some point, hopefully we might see them. So we'll celebrate nature, and folding is all about nature. Inside our bodies, things are folded up, proteins that make our bodies. It's all about folding. So I'm a scientist originally, so I find just so much beauty and fascination in origami, because I think it is about the forces inside us. So a tree, a cutting. So go and definitely make sure you've got some paper. That's a fairly basic requirement for this. Or to watch, that's fine. So if you get yourself some paper, if you've got any coloured paper, you might quite enjoy using it for the stocking. Scissors if possible as well. maybe you might decorate. So here I did a plain tree. Oh, the colours a bit strange today, aren't they? Yeah, you could maybe decorate as well. So it's 5 minutes past. Let's get started. Right, mattered enough. Right, let's get folding. So grab yourself something to press on. And I'm going to show you these 2 traditional trees, which actually I didn't know before. It was Nick Robinson who very kindly shared a couple of diagrams that he's done of these 2. So we'll start with a flat tree and then we'll go on to the 3-dimensional. And actually 3-dimensional is lovely too. I mean, obviously you can see probably how it's made, but once you do little cuts into it, and if you did different sizes and colours, it looks so beautiful. Make your own little fairy wonderland. Simple pleasures. Right, paper. Oh my word. I've been doing lots of things at the moment, so I am definitely feeling as if a little break would be a good idea. So grab yourself some paper. Okay, I have to say it's made me feel very festive doing all of this. So excellent. So I think if you are using A4, I reckon you could do 2 things out of a piece of paper. And this actually makes the classic size piece of origami paper, which is just comfortable, the right size in your hands, not too big, not too small. After a while, it's quite fun going small or very big, but it is a nice, comfortable size. So you should be able to tear it. I've ended up being rather fond of the tearing. I never used to do that. This is me trying to show that you don't need much, but it's quite accurate, really. So we're going to make a square, and I'll show you first of all how to make the little flat traditional tree, and then onto a 3D one, and then a stocking, and then a snowflake. Woohoo! Big bonanza of festivity. And we'll remove this rectangle too. I thought as well it was good to share lots sort of well in advance of Christmas, because actually it's good to have a little time to make decorations and enjoy them rather than pacing them out one at a time. So I've shared a load of videos all at once. I've also been doing that for my colleagues at UCH2, and there may be some colleagues or patients that are joining us as well. So welcome. All of these films are dedicated to you and care that you give. So so if you've got origami paper, do a diagonal fold, and then if you take a side and fold it along that middle line, we're going to make a tree. I'm sure you can't have enough trees. I don't know if you've ever made this before, but it is lovely. So I took the side and I lined it up along the middle line. Excellent. And if you do the outside and again fold it to the middle, it's already looking like a tree, isn't it? Yeah, and I think maybe Santa's and an angel next week. We'll see how we get on. So hopefully it's looking like that. Now our next step is to take the bottom. Are you all happy? Happy at that point? Hopefully fairly simple. Taking that bottom point and bringing it up to that middle point. Like so, obviously keeping it nice and flat, hence I want to go onto the solid surface as well myself. So it was that bottom flat and I brought it up like so. So hopefully that's all good for you. Our next step, are you happy to go on? Is taking this side, this slanty side, and we're going to line it up to the middle line. So we're going to take it and move it round in a straight line, and it's what gives it the lovely plump foot at the bottom. Nice shape, nice angle. I don't know what angle that is, but it's a nice angle. So again, it's taking this outside bit and lining it up with the middle line. This is a nice one for cards as well, because it's flat, so you could stick it on things. So hopefully it's looking like that. Excellent. And our next step is to fold it. It will quite naturally do this. So we're just going to take the bottom and just fold it upwards. And it just very naturally went from this point upwards. Oh, is it worse, Eric, in the cold weather? Maybe has an effect too. I don't know. Hope you have more good days soon. So we brought it up. And next we're going to take the bottom. It's a little bit of a judgment fold. So we're taking it here and around there. It's a bit of a around because, as I said, it's a bit of a judgment. So how big you want your pot at the bottom? Maybe about that sort of height. So it was a bit of a judgment. There we go. And then you should be able to turn it around and see, yeah, see your plant pot. So it's a lovely shape. It's a perfect Christmas tree, really, isn't it? And it is something that you could then later on. Ah, big influence. Oh, so you've been pushing those fingers. That sounds really interesting. Calligraphy. I bet the origami helps because it's all about concentration. I felt as if it's really helped with my drawing, actually. The concentration, the focus. So you could maybe have a go later at colouring in your trees however you wish. That would be a lovely thing to do. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will show you next how to make a 3D one. Again, let's make a square. And it does look quite nice. Wow, it does look quite nice if you use even pattern paper. You could do a whole collection of trees, 3D trees. Different sizes, different papers, and then make little tiny Santas or things in between. Removing the rectangle. Like so. So I won't have time with these live folds, but I've also uploaded a nice star. There's all sorts of things there. Different decorations for trees. So a few little treats along the way. I hope. There we go. So you've done a diagonal. So if you've got a origami piece of paper, do a diagonal, please. And then if we do the other diagonal. So I've ended up doing all these things a little bit differently because it's on camera. So I try to do things a little bit flatter than I normally would. I've adapted. It's what we've all had to do, isn't it? Adapt in this time. So diagonals, turn it over. The usual tent, which I always, I'm really enjoying this light. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to do a horizontal and a vertical. I think I'm quite lucky with the where we are, our room that I use here, a sitting room. Just by that sideways light, I think is really, really good. I really enjoy lighting. My artistic qualifications are in photography, actually. There we go. So I did a horizontal line and a vertical. Of course, it's all about light and shadow, form, composition. So all quite similar. I realised I've been doing a lot of events where I've been talking. I'm not drinking enough coffee, so excuse me, I'm having a quick drink of coffee. I think that's a good idea. There we go. Just instant. So you should be able to take your piece and just push it together, all 4 bits. So hopefully that should be a square. If it's a triangle, sometimes people push it together and it's a triangle. It would be like that, in which case if it's a triangle, turn it upside down, put your finger underneath the middle and pop. There we go. So make into, it's already looking a little bit tree-like, isn't it? So maybe if we now turn it the other way up, I've had to get used to understanding what can go wrong and how to help people through a computer. Imagining what can go wrong. There we go. Although it's not really wrong. It's just you're exploring and trying out different things, and that's actually the way to make discoveries. So it's no bad thing, but it might be a bit frustrating if it's not what you want it to be. So you've got these little pockets. So if you put your finger into a pocket and squash it down in a straight line, make sure that the tips are together. Everything being lined up will mean everything works well. I think it's part of the joy of origami. Precision, good strong fold. Lovely. Turn it to the back. Again, the same thing. Only these little folds, like little leaves for a book, and put your finger in. So I hope that's okay. So I'll be here next week and we'll do a good fold. And then I'm going to leave you for 2 weeks, but there will be lots of stuff online. And I will be back in the new year just to recharge. I'll probably, I won't be bored, but I might well be missing it as well. But just to try to give myself a break, because it's quite hard, isn't it? Normally we go away and do things, and I think it's important still to do these changes. Yeah. So like in the summer, I took a bit of a break. That helped a lot, actually. I found I was beginning to feel a little bit frazzled, and lots of online stuff is a little bit tiring. So I'm not finding it too bad, but even so, again, leaves a book. Flicking through, so I encourage you also to look after yourself over the next couple of weeks. I've not actually seen my parents since last Christmas. I obviously really missing them, but speaking every day, and we're not going to meet till they've had a vaccine. Can't wait for that day. Obviously after the second, the booster, once that's. But brilliant that there's hope for the future, hope for next year. There we go, leafing through a little book. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Something so tiny can have such an effect. I find biology fascinating. Finger in there, and actually something like a virus is totally beautiful. Very much all about folding. They're very beautiful shapes. The irony is something that's destructive. Everything, if you get close enough, is actually rather beautiful. There we go. This is all part of life, even though that can be debated with viruses. So hopefully you've got something like this. It's all stacked up. We could tuck away these little bits. To be honest, I think since we're using scissors, let's just top them off. Let's keep life easy. It's Christmas. Let's be relaxed. So if you want to tuck in these pieces, you can. You could tuck them in that way. That's fine. I'm going to just cut it off. Because although you can keep it plain as it is, I really think it looks much better with little bits cut out. So let's embrace the kirigami today. We can do it. And you see I think it looks really nice, the little bits cut out. So if you've got some scissors, have a go at cutting out some shapes. And I guess trying to keep it balanced from one side to the other. It's rather good. Just thinking about the curves of the branches. And I think it looks rather effective. So after this, we'll make a stocking, and I'll end by showing you a little bit more of the snowflakes. Since we've got some scissors, cheeky scissors. That looks like it's going to be a nice shape, and then I'm going to attempt to do the same thing on the other side. You can try to balance. I don't know whether you're also having a go at this too. I did at first keep them plain, but I do think this is much nicer looking. And also a bit more unique. They each will look a bit different this way, whereas otherwise they do look a bit too uniform. You could have some really nice papers with this as well. Do it right. One last one. Maybe this is a snow-covered tree. There we go. I've lots of bits of paper everywhere. Oh, that's rather inconvenient, isn't it? The origami. We don't have normally any mess when it comes to origami. So you should have a lovely little 3D tree, and it is I think it's really rather effective. Not really an awful lot of work. You get something that's nice. Yeah, hope is totally needed. I've been just keeping away and keeping safe, but it would be pretty depressing if that was forever. It's just awful. We need things to improve, and there's no other way really to improve the situation than a vaccine, which is all about helping your body. What it does brilliantly, but it does need a little bit of preparation, and then it all works well. There we go. So I hope you've managed to make the little trees. I think they're rather lovely. Next, I'm going to show you how to make a stocking, which I learned from, I'll show you a lovely book, which British Origami Society very kindly gave me one of their library books for teaching. So I am using it, you'll be glad to know. And there was a stocking in there. Suggests traditional, but I don't know who's invented it, so we don't know who's invented it, but it's rather nice, as you can see, little candy canes. So I'm going to teach this to you. I've really enjoyed this one. You'll see why. There's nice little moments. I'll try not to give it away too much, but it's good. Right, so since we're going to do another two things, we're going to do a stocking and then a snowflake. I'm again going to divide this in half. So my piece of paper, fold it in half. If you have coloured paper, I would thoroughly recommend it for this stocking. And maybe later on you might enjoy using wrapping paper. If you have walls and threads, you can also tuck it in towards the final stage and hang it up to. I've got an example. Here's like one I made earlier for Blue Peter. There we go. So you can sort of tuck this in. So I actually haven't made any holes. I've just done a little thread. So that's a possibility. But let's make our square. I've also been with these stockings just decorating it myself, which I thought was actually really effective. Yeah, really fun. So that was just borrowing old white paper. I just added some colour and hey, so much better. Right, fold it over. Get rid of the rectangle. Yeah, it's been astonishing how fast, in a brilliant way, science is very fast because we desperately need this. And to involve large numbers of people in trials willing to help, everyone working as hard as they can. Yeah, I should be very grateful. Nice, I'm in Oxford, so it's very much thinking of, people here who've worked so hard. And that should be a good one for the developing world since it's fridge temperature and much easier. So actually talking about the chance discovery, I mean, amazing to find that less could help more. I mean, that is a brilliant discovery. And many of the best discoveries are made by chance. And I think it's wonderful that there can be honesty as to what's happened as well. I think that's very important. I think if people are criticised for making mistakes, that's ridiculous. People do. And it's just a very small one. It's not in any way anything serious, but it had a very, very good outcome. Unexpected. Right. Sorry, I'll stop wittering there. So our piece of paper, doesn't matter which end you're going to use it. We're going to make, first of all, the top of the stocking. So if you just fold over an end bit, this will be the very top of your stocking. So if you've got coloured paper, the obvious thing would be for this all to be coloured and for this to be a little white bit at the top. Happy? There we go. So now turning it to the back, and we will fold it in half vertically. So it will reveal again that little rim. So we were on the blank side and we folded it in half. So you can then see the rim. Hope that's okay. I'll try and go slowly. Also quite relaxing to go slowly for me as well. When I'm doing it for myself, I go faster. Opening it up and taking the side, bringing it to the middle. So actually I find teaching it is very relaxing because I try to go slowly and calmly, and it is so much more fun that way. There we go. So from the outside, and the same with the other side. So the outside, bring it into the middle. So they meet like a little sock cupboard. There we go. So we've got this top rim up there. We're now going to work at the bottom here of your stocking. So it just so happens this diagonal is going to work for me there. But take the corner and fold it to that midway line. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that would be lovely. That's a very good idea, Eric. Although you probably might as well just make a stocking then if you're using fabric. I don't know. No, it would be lovely. Again, the sides, taking it to the middle in a straight line. So we're beginning to shape it, but your socks are not pointy. So we need to soften that point. So if we take the bottom of this and then bring it up to that midway line, well, the bottom of the sock. And that will just soften it. It will round it off a bit, whereas otherwise it would be pointy and a bit strange. So sticking down there and then folding it up like so. Great. So I hope you're all at this stage. Do shout if you're not. Otherwise I will assume we're safe to go. So our next step is to take the bottom and bring it up to the top. So we're just folding it in half. It's really just a midway line that you're adding there. Again, keep it all nice and in the middle. There we go. It's gone very dark. Goodness. Not even 2:30. I can see why we have to put up lights and make our own little brightness. Okay. So our next step is we're going to be adding a little tuck at the bottom of all of this. So take the bottom of this and tucking it up. I want you to then line up this area with this back midpoint. If I can show you, and this is where it needs to be. So it was down there, that's the midway line. These are the lines you've already got, and I pushed it up until this lines up with the back, like so. Have any of you done this stocking before? I've actually shown this to a few origamists and they haven't known it. I assumed everyone would know. It's lovely. You'll see, there's a little fun bit in it. Has that worked for everybody? Can you see? So this lines up with this back bit. Nope. So I'll see if I can explain again. So it's lying down like this. You've got that halfway line. I brought up the bottom and I pushed it up until the point with this line matches up with that back midway line. Like so. Has that worked, Caleb? Hoping it has. I have recorded all of these as videos, so that is also a possibility if you're finding you need to look at it more, or you want to repeat it, try again. But hopefully that's worked. So I will assume it was working for you. I hope it is. Again, I wish I could help you more directly, but hopefully this is still help. And now if you just fold it in on itself, like so. Great. Oh wow, Judith, that's amazing. Fantastic. Well done. That's great to hear. Yay, you're gaining interest and you're bringing your way of looking at origami. That's brilliant. I'm really pleased. Yeah, it's great. And just with time, these things do just get bigger or word spread. Transmission in a good way. Oh, that's brilliant, Judith. I'm really glad. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, mine has also just grown quite a lot. Quite surprised. It's lovely. Yeah. The most popular thing I did was a child was asking if I could show how to do a Pudsey bear as children in need. So I found a sort of a bear face and adapted it a bit and drew on it. It was on the Origami Instructions website and didn't say, alas, who had invented it. And drew on it and had over 1,700 people viewed. And when I looked on Twitter, found that teachers were using it in the classroom. So there are photos of lots of bear faces that children had made. So actually, it was a huge number of people took part. That was really unexpected. I didn't even do it as a weekly fold because it was just a bear face. But that was really nice. So you never know what's going to be of interest. I think this festive time could be of interest too. I think we're all aware that it's an odd time, so why not bring on the festivity and creativity? Right, enough of me wittering. There is this little area at the bottom. It doesn't look like a stocking at the moment, does it? But if you grab the bottom of this diagonal, pull, yay! And it always surprises me. The foot seems to appear out the opposite side to the one I expect. There we go. So the foot comes out. Put it all the way to where it goes. Flatten it there. And you've now got a nice little foot there. And one more step. Can you see it's quite open there? Well, actually, this little rim is really useful because you can tuck one side underneath the other. Can you see? A little bit of fiddling around, but that little rim of the stocking can grip hold of both layers. To look at it at that point, because it needs to be very snugly, like a nice bit of a sock. But then that keeps it together. It's a little bit open down there, but that's okay. It's better than it was. And you'll find you can actually use it too. Obviously not to wear, but to put things in. You might put in a pencils or pen, or maybe you've got a candy cane. It would be nice, wouldn't it? It look very pretty. So you really can put things in there. So that could be quite nice as a present. We could stick it on a card, put things in it, and you can colour it as you saw. That's what I did myself with different colours. I thought worked rather well. So if you haven't got nice papers, it doesn't matter. Make it yourself. So, so I'm going to show you just one more thing. So we've done, goodness, we've done 3 things. I hope you're feeling suitably festive. I wanted to show you back to the snowflakes. So I was showing this at the start. Beautiful book. I think if you look up Snow Crystal, Kenneth Liebrecht. If you have a look there. That's the person to look up. But I think it's called Snow Crystal. There's a whole website of his beautiful photographs. Go and have a look. They are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Let me see if I can show you a picture of him. I just found it fascinating that he would go out with his camera, and somewhere in here I know there's a picture of him. I just love it. So after all of that, there's a guy in his car. There's his sheet of glass with his tripod and takes pictures of the snowflakes. And these are real things that he sees and captures. Of course, they're fleeting, aren't they? Because they're not going to stay for long. Snowflakes. This is how they start. Little strange little lines, and they grow. But they all have a symmetry of 6. So I don't know about you, but a lot of us obviously have made cutting kirigami snowflakes, and they're lovely. But the symmetry is wrong. They're normally folded in quarters and then an eighth, and symmetry is wrong. It needs to be symmetry of 6. Of course, it's about folding. So I'm going to show you how to do your own snowflakes that will look a lot more convincing. This paper. They also look rather good if you go really small. Ephemeral magical, exactly. If you have really sharp, I've got some nail scissors. They're good for doing things like this. And if you want to experiment with doing tiny ones, because they look lovely if you put those on a tree decorations, or big ones, and you can put them in the window. That's what I'm doing as well. Take a corner. Let's make a square. I think for this you probably do want to use white paper, don't you? It's the most appropriate. There we go. Need to get rid of the rectangle. Not many folds to this, and it's more cutting. So, got a square that's folded in half to make a triangle. Now we're going to do a vertical line, which will help with the symmetry. You need a marker as to where the middle of it is. So folding it over. Dissecting scissors. Cool. We were scientists originally. Yeah, I've got some dissecting scissors too. Brilliant. Strong ones. Nice and exact. So you've now got that halfway line. And actually, this reminds me of the cup, magic cup. It's magic cup. Stephen, you said it's one of your favourites. It just reminds me of that. That's all. So you're going to take this middle and fold it so it's kind of this position. It's a little bit of a see as you go along, and then the other one similar. Make sure it's point at the bottom because you need that sharp middle to it. And it is a question of fiddling around until you feel that these 2 points are about the same. Now you don't want, hopefully, does it look a bit like that? I don't know how to describe it. It's a bit like a flower, actually, isn't it? Next, get out your scissors. I'm going to try and get that a little bit tighter around the bottom there. Make sure that it's not, if you used it as it is, it's going to be quite square. So if you go, oh, sorry, actually, we'll do one more fold while we're here. Fold it over one more time. Your flower, fold it in half. So it's like that, folding it in half. Then we're up to 6-fold symmetry. Now, I recommend cutting it as a sort of circular shape. That way it will be roughly circular. Otherwise, you'll end up with square shapes, which never look right. So I'll just draw on there so you can see what I mean. I recently showed it and realised people didn't realise what I meant. Something like that, so it will end up being a circle. So you can get rid of these sharper square edges. So do that first. Of course, you're going to make a nice mess, but that's all right in paper. Now get creative. So it depends if you wanted to get in and out, cutting as much intricacy, I reckon, as you can. If you wanted to dramatically go in and out, or the only key is not to cut all the way across, or else you're obviously finishing it. So I try and experiment. I never quite know what's going to work. Quite thick, obviously. Yeah, Eric, this is definitely not one for your fingers at the moment. This is quite a exercise. I'm just experimenting. I'm adding more and more up onto my windows. But I think it's such a nice thing. And these I've also included them in presents where I've done some cutting. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I've put it in my little package to someone and they can open it up and enjoy that little moment. It's like a kaleidoscope, and yet one you never quite know how it's going to work out. And everyone's really does look different. The way I do mine will be different from yours. So they end up with that uniqueness. Right. Get rid of those scraps of paper. Wonder what this will look like. Never cease to enjoy this moment of opening it up. I love the way the paper almost pushes together as well. It feels interesting. Going to be quite a lacy one, this, I feel. Hey, very nice. But it's helped having the 6-fold symmetry, hasn't it? So I think you can make them so much better as a result. Yes. Is it origami for clay scissors? Well, it sounds as if it's a little bit of a, dare I say, a Western fixation of trying to be that purist. I mean, it's a great thing to do. This is not origami. This is not origami. This is kirigami. But I think it's appropriate. So there's nothing deeply wrong with scissors. And actually, you need to know the folds. I like how this has ended up a circle in the middle. I start seeing these gorgeous patterns. And I think origami is about patterns. I think this is beautiful because it's also about patterns too. So enjoy it all. I think as long as you think carefully what you're doing and not just using things for the sake of it. I think that self-discipline of, is there a way around making something without using scissors, is a really nice one. But for a snowflake, I would argue that, you know, this is a good way of doing it. I have been making some to show you. Tomoko Fuse, how she's done these beautiful designs of snowflakes. So this is one to put against the light, so it's transparent. I don't know if you can see against the light there. And they're really nice to put up in the window. So it's another way where it's not had any cuts, but it's transparent. And the 6-fold symmetry, which is lovely. So that's something I've been doing and giving as presents as well. But you need the right kind of paper. It's a bit more complicated. I've not been wanting to show too complicated ones. If you get into it, you'll find yourself doing different things too. So, thank you, Liam. I'm really glad that you've been enjoying it. Hello, and I'm afraid we're about to log out in just a moment. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's where origamis come from Japan. I think it's the self-discipline to try not to use it, only with care, but sometimes it's a nice part. So I will see you next week, and that will be the last live fold of this year. But there's lots and lots of videos that I've put on, and I will also be releasing another video next week and the week after as well. So there are things there, and I will be back in the new year, and there's lots of things to do. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. So have a lovely rest of your week. Take care, keep safe, and look after yourselves, and see you soon. And do share if you've got any images you've done of these. If you happen to be on Twitter at Dr. Lizzie Bird, I'd love to see what you've made. Or if you're on Facebook, join the Folds Origami to Beat Boredom. I just do these things, not so much for for work, effectively, for sharing this, just for sharing positive things. I think it's really important. So do join me if you happen to be on there. Look after yourselves. Oh, we are so lucky indeed. We're very lucky to have origami, even occasionally kirigami in our lives. So take care, everyone. There's not a kirigami society, though, is there? I don't know. Probably not. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.